Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually had a little bit of a lighter news day. We may go and squeeze in one more quicker video after this one's all done. But for today, we actually have some brand new PlayStation 5 consoles coming out and a lot of really big pain when it comes to the gaming industry. We're now seeing even more bigger layoffs. We're seeing some really big game companies you guys are probably actually recognize the name of as we go and talk about it, aka like Marvel, going and seeing how like a lot of game stuff is falling apart and everything else in between. So we're going to go talk about this, talk about some drama, talk about some new stuff and everything else in between. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. In case you guys are going to follow, and of course, we keep on doing that promotion for Best Buy for the brand new MetaQuest 3 with the pre-orders linked down below, both in the comment section and description, so check those on out. And of course, I appreciate y'all so much for watching here in the first place. So, hi, hello. We have a very intriguing brand new thing over here for when it comes from Sony. Sony, as of right now, is announcing the new Marvel Spider-Man 2 PS5 console, and those buying the PS5 for Marvel Spider-Man 2 may want to snag Sony's new console bundle. So as you guys have probably been seeing and prepping, and I'm kind of waiting for it myself, we're going to be having a lot more brand new Spider-Man news coming out in the very near future. Now, the game's coming out very soon. Console cover, plates, controllers, and everything else have all been kind of floating around pretty well, but one thing we kind of all have noticed is that, well, Sony themselves have been trying to go pimp it out, but we also have a brand new console now officially announced as of today. So in anticipation of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Sony recently announced a new PS5 bundle that comes with the upcoming superhero game. According to PlayStation X, formerly Twitter, the console bundle will be available on the same day the game is released, October 20th. Spider-Man fans who don't even own a PS5 yet will have the perfect opportunity to grab the console right as the new game comes out. Now, as you guys may have seen, and you guys kind of going in and out of stock, but it's mostly been out of stock. There has been the brand new PlayStation 5 limited edition stuff with the console cover and the controller, which I sold that was a pretty good deal at the $600 price point. And now, as of right now, it's a brand new iteration of consoles coming out for Spider-Man. And this is more in line of the God of War bundles and the Horizon Forbidden West bundles. Both of those that we had a chance to go and saw were kind of cool. Like, we appreciated them. They were nice. They were kind of good price points. And if you were having issues getting consoles, they were kind of there for you. Now, with all these, it's kind of nice to see that we're seeing these floating around. So, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is the most anticipated game of 2023, which I actually probably agree with. I think it's a little bit bigger than even Final Fantasy, at least in my opinion, based on the prior sales records. Other games such as, well, maybe Tears of the Kingdom, maybe not. But this one up there. So, it's the biggest PS5 exclusive to make a release in consoles this year, and a lot of folks are hyped up for it. But either way, they do have their brand new consoles coming out in the very near future. So we don't have to go too crazy in this one. I think it's good news. I think more options is always nice. I think everything with this is cool. I like it. I dig it. Now, more so, do you guys even need a console, though? That's kind of the part two. Where the part two for this stuff, chat, is that at the end of the day, like, I think a lot of you guys watching my videos or in my community or on Twitter or whatever already have your PlayStation. If you've wanted one, you'll get one. Now, they have had a few incentivizations to buy them from the PS4 upgrades, those free games, or other various things too, such as, like, you know, this, having bundles or limited edition stuff, or selling the Kobe Bryant stuff, or whatever it might be. I feel like just a lot of folks who have and wanted their consoles probably already have it, though. So it kind of makes sense, at least in my mind, of why this is all floating around. But either way, just letting you guys know, we got the good old console bundle coming. Very nice to go and see. Now, we also have a little bit of cool news too as well, where they're going to be having a lot more nifty things when it comes to different type of web swinging too as well, different settings, kind of new features. So they basically said there's going to be like swing steering assisting. There's going to be different types of things, not in accessibility, just like kind of nice things for the actual gameplay itself. They want to go have 10 levels of swing assistance on that slider. So the game starts at the default is level 10. So basically you could have a little bit more or less assistance depending on how much you want to play the game or how immersive you want to be. Really kind of cool features to go have, include on the Spider-Man console. Basically at the end of the day, it's like you either could be individual, like have to go and literally do the analog stick to aim at like the tower to go move because you're really efficient and quick. You want to make it more fun, or sometimes you press one button and it'll just automatically lock into anything that's closed and you have to keep on playing through the game. And that's like the idea of what I'm seeing off of this. So it sounded cool, looked really cool. I think that's a big thumbs up in our mind as well. Now, some other kind of big inside, like horrible news, I would say, is we're now seeing some really big drama for games, both for Team 17 hit by reductionings from the UK firm latest to suffer layoffs, to also Marvel being painfully aware that its games are flopping, says insiders. So we've been kind of seeing a lot of things in the gaming industry running amok, which is not good to see. We'll start off with Marvel because it's kind of the bigger name, but I think a lot of it's relevant towards the Team 17 story, where some games are just not making that much money. A good example is Square Enix for, like, say, Forspoken, or even as well the Marvel's Avenger games. Like, some of these games you would be expecting, at least being used in the same merit of, like, their movies or TV shows, could be going insane. But the part two of this is that It's not really. And I almost want to put this towards the fact of like the oversaturation. Good examples, a lot of Disney shows and Disney movies where they're cool. We like them, we could appreciate them, but if there's also 15 series I have to watch to catch up on the mainstead series, I'm kind of against it. We want to keep on trying to introduce like other side characters as well. Yeah, that's cool and all, but if they don't seem like cool characters or someone I grew up with or whatever, it's not going to really be that high up for me. And the same thing kind of goes for video games, where if these games are poor cash cows and cash grabs, a lot of folks kind of notice. And if you go and spend $100 million making a game and it makes $20 million, you might actually just go and bankrupt a company. So an insider says that there's an internal shift within Marvel to focus on games, an area though that hasn't really had that much success on, maybe because they're maybe seeing the also movie fatigue that I just kind of talked about. So Marvel's Avenger was delisted yesterday, just 3 years after its release, while an end to the live service events and roadmap was hardly surprising because it just wasn't doing that good. The decision to remove it from the storefronts entirely is quite dramatic and signals a huge failure in strategy, and it's also one of the bigger games out there with the bigger IPs with a lot of folks playing it. So according to well-known comic book scooper Can We Get Some Toast, Marvel is very much aware that its games aren't reaching their potential and has plans to address this. According to Leaker, the upcoming Black Panther and Iron Man games are part of Marvel's new strategy, hoping to turn its gaming fortunes around after commercial flops like Marvel's Avengers, Midnight Suns, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, these are all around, by the way, good games. They're not great. They're like a nice solid 6 to 8 depending on your preferences, but like they're not the worst. I put the same range of like Starfield, but they're also not selling the same amount of money it would take to have like an actual IP made. Like a lot of these games are mediocre. Marvel is painfully aware on how their video game division hasn't been reaching its potential overall, says Can We Get Some Toast in response to a fan highlighting the recent failures in the gaming lineup. There have been whispers of an internal shift for Marvel to focus more on games. The new EA Black Panther and Iron Man games will be the start, which makes sense. Like, those are bigger IPs with more people that are fans of these. Like, I can understand that. Focusing on sole superheroes like this could be a winning move, as Marvel's big success, the Insomniac Spider-Man game series, also takes this approach. I think as long as the games are good, people are going to like them. If the games are fun and people are enjoying the experience and they're having a good experience overall, they're going to enjoy them. They're going to keep buying them. They're going to recommend to their friends, or YouTubers or Twitch streamers going to go play them. It'll be a good time. But if they're mediocre and they just rely on sponsorship money or brand IP alone, it's not going to do much. Like, you could love Harry Potter, but the Harry Potter game was a relatively decent game. But if that game was a flop, then people would have not bought it and the game would have been horrible based off reviews, etc. I think a good example is that Lord of the Rings game with Gollum. Still big IP, was horrible, so no one wanted to play it. It's all make a good game, people play it. Frustrating this doesn't mean that Marvel's recent games haven't been critical successes. The Guardians of the Galaxy game was hugely popular with fans, particularly since it was a multiplayer game, or a single-player game. And I do kind of feel like multiplayer is almost not the vibe for these types of games. If I want to play a superhero game, I kind of like the self-insertion, where I want to become the superhero. Think how Spider-Man is a linear story game. I like it. It's progressive. When it comes like the story is progressing, you get stronger over time. You learn more about the lore over time. It is like basically being in a movie. Versus a game like the Avengers game, like, it's not as fun. Like, I don't feel like I'm really a superhero if I'm playing 15 superheroes. It's not really the biggest thing at the end of the day. Now, one thing I kind of wish they'd do more of, funny enough, is like a really good fighting game superhero game. Like, you get all the same Marvel characters and make like imagine like a Tekken type style game or Street Fighter type game, Mortal Kombat type game. I'd probably like it. I'd probably enjoy it. I'm surprised I haven't done that either way. But either way, this is going to go really rough. Same though with Team 17, where they're now being hit by redundancies and people are getting laid off. Same after the Epic Games layoffs too from earlier on this week. The UK firm latest to suffer layoffs. I couldn't do a source familiar with the situation. The studios are facing its second wave of layoffs now this year, and they have a response from the statement stating, in response to the reports concerning the departure of Michael Patterson from Team 17, we can confirm that we had some amicable part ways. We have also sadly entered into a period of consultation today with Team 17 Digital as well, and they're going to have some restructuring going on. So it kind of seems like the gaming industry as a whole has not been doing so good, because then now it does apparently having more waves of layoffs, and we've been seeing a lot more waves of layoffs in game companies, which is never fun. Like, we want to make sure people are playing games for as long as they can, enjoying games as long as they can, and at the end of the day, it's kind of a sad situation to be in. Because it just kind of seems like, well, people are losing their jobs. It's never fun. It also means there might be less future games in general, and also like the future of funding games is always scary too as well. But yeah, it seems like a lot of these bigger game companies are noticing this. Like, this might be rough. Like, some places might be going down 30%. That's a pretty big decline. Or other big AAA games might be going down too as well. And a lot of folks are just not happy. Like, you don't want to have to be worrying about if your future game's going to come out, or if your job is even in effect or not. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. on everything, the brand new console. I'm kind of excited for this one, as well as also the big drama too as well, or we get, well, games are just not doing as hot right now. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on that Best Buy promo down below as well. Check on the Meta Quest 3 pre-order if you guys are intrigued on that, as well. Also the Twitter and Twitch will probably live right now if you guys are bored or curious, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.